Hello, it is 5 a.m. in Washington. It's 2 p.m. in Islamabad. I'm Monita Rajpal.
And I'm Kristie Stout. You're watching World One, live from London and Hong Kong.
The final hours of bin Laden. We begin with new details about the death of the world's most wanted man. Take a look at these pictures from inside the White House Situation Room. It is the moment the U.S. president and his inner circle found out bin Laden had been killed.
Now, the Pakistani government says it had no knowledge of bin Laden's whereabouts at any point over the past few years. But some U.S. officials say Islamabad has some explaining to do. They wonder why his compound did not attract their suspicion.
Bin Laden's presence in Afghanistan was the motive for the U.S.-led invasion in 2001. So what impact will his death have on the war there? Mohammed Jamjoon is at CNN in Kabul, and he joins us now. And Mohammed, is there a sense of concern that perhaps now that bin Laden is dead, that the operations that are taking place in Afghanistan will just end?
Well, that's right, Monita. There is a growing sentiment of concern here about how this will affect the war on terror in Afghanistan.
Is calling bin Laden's death a decisive step in the fight against international terrorism. It is a country that knows all too well the horror of terror attacks. 7 years ago, a series of bombs tore through commuter trains in Madrid. Well, CNN's Madrid bureau chief Al Goodman caught up with some of the ambulance workers who were there on the scene that day. He joins us now live. Al.
Hi, Monita. Well, the Spanish government says the nation is relieved that Osama bin Laden has been killed. And as you say, all thoughts here went to the Madrid train bombings of 7 years ago.
Well, Kristie, Osama bin Laden was seen as the symbol of the Al-Qaeda movement, and he was the leader of the Al-Qaeda base. And we want to find out more as to what happens now to Al-Qaeda. We're joined by the editor-in-chief of Arabic newspaper Al-Quds, Abdel Bari Atwan, who met and interviewed him. And I see this in your column in the Guardian paper today. He said that he told you that his greatest ambition was to die a martyr's death and join those who had gone before him in paradise. He got what he wanted.
Yes, actually, the first part of his wish to be killed as a martyr was fulfilled by President Obama.
Do you think that's really what happens, though? Do you think he's going to be martyred now?
I think he will be considered as a martyr in the eyes of, millions of people who support him, who believe he is in the right direction. But, many people in the Muslim world believe he is completely the opposite. Many people believe in the conspiracy theory. He was not behind 11th of September. The man actually was irreplaceable, or is irreplaceable when it comes to Al-Qaeda. He was charismatic in a way. He's a man belongs to the wealthiest country in the Arab world, gave up everything and go to Afghanistan, to Tora Bora, to fight the Soviet Unions, and after that to fight the Americans. So there is a mixed feeling about him in the Arab world. But Al-Qaeda definitely is facing a devastating blow. Who will replace him? He is irreplaceable.
Is it really about that? I mean, I'm still confused about this idea that there is this sense that there was the centralized leadership of Al-Qaeda, as opposed to Al-Qaeda being this ideological way of thinking, or ideology that for some fanatics to follow. Is it really the case? Was he? I mean, he didn't seem to have much of a role, an active role in actually directing what to do and who to do what.
Monita, you are absolutely correct here. Osama bin Laden, when it comes to the operational side of Al-Qaeda, he was completely insignificant for the last 10 years.
So it's not really about looking for a replacement, though, is it?
Al-Qaeda now is transformed. It's changed. It is a flat, loose organization. There is no pyramid-built Al-Qaeda as it used to be, say, 10 years or 15 years ago. Now you have Al-Qaeda in Somalia, Al-Qaeda in Yemen, Al-Qaeda in Maghreb, Al-Qaeda in Iraq, Al-Qaeda in Afghanistan, Al-Qaeda in Pakistan. It is fragmented now, and it is different branches all over the world. So Osama bin Laden actually did not know who is in operation in this part or the other part. He didn't give instruction, but he gave inspiration. He is the spiritual leader of Al-Qaeda, ideological leader, the charismatic leader. But when it comes to operation, there is a new generation of Al-Qaeda, a field commanders who are very lethal, very brutal, and those people definitely will continue their job.
Let me just quickly ask this one question. What does the killing do then to the anti-American sentiment that these other franchises already have?
The problem is, there are a lot of questions needed to be answered by American administration. Burying him in the sea, as we were told, this will, create a lot of controversy. It will be considered un-Islamic. The conspiracy theory will thrive here. They will say, why we couldn't see his body the way they did with the Saddam Hussein's sons, Uday and Qusay. Why we didn't see him captured and tried like Milosevic, like Saddam Hussein. So there will be a lot of question marks. Already in our newspaper, we are bombarded by comments, by letters, by emails saying, explain to us why we couldn't see him, why they buried him quickly the way we seen. So I think the American administration, President Obama himself, should give us more actually answers to these questions in order to bury Osama bin Laden forever.
Okay, Abdul Bari Adwan, thank you so much. Kristie.
You've been watching World One live from Hong Kong and London. I'm Kristie Stout.
And I'm Monita Rajpal. Thanks for joining us. We want to give you a look at these pictures out of New York.
All these firemen and bagpipers are at ground zero singing as they celebrate the killing of Osama bin Laden. This is World One right here on CNN.
Wipe with fire!